Hi everyone! We planted our onion seeds way back at the beginning of the year, and it's hard to believe that these teeny tiny seeds have now grown into beautiful onions that are ready to harvest. But how do you know when to harvest your onions at the best size and flavor, and how to cure them and store them so they last for months and don't rot and spoil? Today I'm going to share with you 6 secrets for harvesting, curing, and storing your onions at maximum flavor and longest shelf life. Secret number 1 is look for floppy leaves, and this has to do with harvesting. Now, onions take a long time to grow from seed to harvest, about 4 to 6 months. So it can be a little bit tricky knowing when to harvest. When they're growing over the growing season, the leaves are nice and straight and upright, nice and green, signifying that the onions are still growing. But when they stop growing, the leaves start to flop over like this one. So the leaves are really the key. When some of your onion crop starts to flop over like this, that's a sign that they're ready to harvest. So what you want to do at this point is kind of wiggle some of the other onion stems. See if you can kind of flop them over with your hand, and if you can, that's a sign that they're ready to harvest. Now, if the leaves aren't floppy, like the ones here in the front of Little Shorty, and the necks are nice and firm when you wiggle them, you want to leave these onions to harvest later. Secret number 2 is to stop watering your onions about 2 weeks before you plan to harvest. This allows for the outer layers of the onion to dry out, which helps them keep longer and reduces them rotting after you've harvested them. Secret number 3 is don't yank your onions out. Loosen them first and then pull them very gently. For long-term storage, rot is a big problem. If you yank them, you could pull off the entire stem, which could introduce rot before your onions are dried and ready for storage. So what I do is I take a small little trowel and loosen the soil around the onion first, very gently. You don't want to nick the onion. Again, could introduce rot and bacteria into your onion. So just loosen them up. This is a beautiful onion. Wow. Can't wait to eat this one. And then you could just even kind of dig down like this, very carefully again, not to break the onion skin. And then you want to gently pull the onion out of the ground. Wow, this is a gorgeous, gorgeous onion. Look at those roots. This is absolutely beautiful. Now, this is an onion from my onion seed collection. So head over and visit my website, CaliKimGardenandHome.com. You can check out all of my seed collections, including my onion seed collection. And if you sign up to be on my email newsletter list, you'll get a coupon for $5 off. We send out lots of garden tips, all kinds of good stuff. This is a great one too. Look at those beautiful roots. The stem of this one has already broken off. That's okay. We're going to leave that right there on my harvest tray. Oh, this one is absolutely gorgeous as well. Just loosening up the stem, gently lifting it out of the ground. These onions feel nice and firm, which is a great sign. They're not rotting at all. I'm going to go ahead and harvest all the onions at the back of Little Shorty here. And Little Shorty is a great way to grow onions. It's got nice of good aeration. It's a smart pot, so it's nice and aerated, and it provides great airflow to the onions so they grow really, really well. Now this one doesn't want to come out, so I'm actually just going to get down in here with my hands and loosen it up. Wow, lots of soil coming out with that one. You do want to kind of shake all the soil off that you can. And this one is a little bit smaller. It could be, it's a bunching onion, which don't bulb up real big. Just get in here and get your hands dirty. We're going to set that one aside and harvest the other 2 nice ones over here. Here's a nice little one. And another beautiful, nice big onion. This one is coming right out of the ground. And right now I'm having an end of summer clearance sale over at CaliKimGardenandHome.com, 50% off all seed collections. So it's a great time to stock up, grab your onion seed collection, your fall garden seed collection, so you've got some good cool weather veggies to plant for fall. Use the code end of summer, and that 50% off sale goes until Tuesday, September 5th. Secret number 4 for onions is curing your onions for a long shelf life. Now, I only had a few onions to harvest today, but if you have a large harvest of onions, you definitely want to cure them so they last for several months. So what is curing? Curing is simply the process of preparing your onions for storage. And what happens during curing is the outer edge of the onions dry up, kind of shrink up and tighten up around the onions so they last for months. And the cure with curing is dry, dry, dry. You want to keep them as dry as possible. So what you want to do when you have a large harvest is lay them out on a basket or a shelf that has kind of a screen so they get nice and dry and airy. Ideal conditions for curing onions are 75 to 80 degrees, dry and out of the sun. This could be a shady spot in your garden, in your garage, or even on your kitchen table. And then every couple of days, you want to turn them over so they get plenty of airflow. You don't want anything to mold or rot or anything like that. And then you'll notice the leaves and the stems start to dry up completely. The roots here kind of get dry and wiry and dry out completely. And after about 2 to 3 weeks, they're ready for storage. Onion secret number 5 is once they're fully cured, trim off the ends and trim off the stem so they're ready for storage. Now, I don't have a fully cured onion to show you today, but make sure you subscribe. Come back in a couple of weeks and we'll do a video when these are fully cured and show you how to do that. But basically what you want to do is leave a couple inches of the stem to prevent any moisture loss to the bulb. And once you trim the stem, it allows you to see if it's a little bit green in the center, which might indicate it's not fully dried, and those are the onions that you want to eat first. Onion secret number 6, store them in a cool, dry, and dark place. Now, once your onions are fully cured, they're ready for storage, but mold and rot can definitely be a problem. So the sweet spot for the longest shelf life is a spot that's under 75 degrees, but above freezing. So if you live in an area where you have basements, we don't have basements here in Southern California, that would be an ideal place to store them, or in a root cellar, but definitely has to be cool, dry, with plenty of airflow. Now, a good option to store your onions is in one of these mesh bags. I actually use these to support my watermelon, but they also work very well for storing onions because they have plenty of airflow. If you don't have those, a mesh basket is a good idea. Again, lots of airflow around the mesh basket, or a crate, or you could just use a cardboard box with holes in it. But the key, again, is cool, dry, and plenty of airflow. Now, the problem here in Southern California, or if you live in an area that doesn't have basements, is we don't have a real cool place to store our onions. So what I do is store them in a mesh bag, in a crate, in a closet, somewhere in the house where it doesn't get too hot. Now, the thing that you also need to know is that the long day onions are usually the pungent or more sharper flavor onions. Those have a much longer shelf life. The sweet onions, which are the day neutral or the intermediate day onions, which we grow here in the South, you need to eat those up within a couple of months because they don't have as long of a shelf life. And for more information on long day and short day, intermediate day onions, I'll put a link to the video that we explained more about that in the video description. And just a little side note, if you're storing potatoes for the winter also, don't store your potatoes and your onions together, as the gases emitted from the potatoes can cause your onions to spoil faster. I want to know down below, did you grow onions this summer? Are you getting ready to harvest your onions? There's nothing more fresh and tasty than adding garden fresh onions to your recipes. I absolutely love it. Head over to CaliKimGardeningHome.com. Take advantage of that end of summer sale. You can get a great deal on all the seed collections, 50% off with the code end of summer, and the sale runs until Tuesday, September 5th. Thanks for watching. We'll see you on the next video.